Okay, so this last video is about what I think is just one of the absolute best parts of OneNote, and it's using tags. So we have built-in tags, custom tags, finding tags using filters, and then creating a summary page. So if we go over to OneNote, within the home menu over here, there's a whole section on tags. And if we look at these drop-downs, there are a lot of built-in tags that are already ready to go. We can also create custom tags. Let me remind you that when we were playing around with some of the default page templates, some of the academic ones had this little picture of a home and they were using it for homework. So if we were going to use one of these templates to start our notes, there would be a really nice place for us to just add homework. And what looks like a just cute little graphic is actually a built-in tag. These stars are actually built-in tags. Now, something that is weird, and I don't really know why, but even though OneNote is set up to use these as homework, if we go look at the tags, it's not one of the built-ins. So the first thing that I'm going to do is create a tag. So I'm going to create a custom tag and say new tag. I'm going to call it homework, even though, again, OneNote clearly already knows this tag because they use it in some of their templates. But and then I'm going to find the little picture of the house. Now I'm going to make that the homework tag. Maybe I always want it to be in red or purple or something. I don't know. I'm just going to leave that alone, but call it the homework tag. And by default, it automatically put it up at the top of my list. I can change the order of these. Notice when you change the order, it changes the shortcut buttons in a really nice, convenient way, which is cool. If there are other things that you would like to be able to tag, you can add them. But let me show you how tags work. So I'll say, okay, now I've got a homework tag up here. So if I go back to the page group that I was playing with earlier with my 1-1 section, right, which I can expand or collapse, I kind of scribbled on this first page some. I called one of these 1-1 examples, and then I didn't really create any examples, but maybe I have a 2x plus 3y equals 6, and I wanted to find the intercepts of that. Maybe I've gone through and I've solved the whole problem and I end up with something like the x-intercept is always going to occur whenever the y value is 0, right? So my x-intercept is going to be 3, my y-intercept is going to be 2. Maybe I was also asked to graph that problem, so I sketch a real quick graph and I end up with something along those lines, right? So this is just me drawing real fast. Excuse me, not super high quality work, but I have done some examples. Maybe some of these examples are from class. Maybe my teacher made a point of saying that, like, hey, this one's going to be on the test. I don't know. So I've worked through that, and then I've done my homework. So I worked out one problem here, right? And I think we showed in one of the other ones how we could have screen clippings. Let me add one of those as a quick review. Let's see, maybe I've got perhaps this whole section right here. And then maybe I'm drawing over that, okay? So for each of these, I'm trying to show a vertical line test. So math teachers recognize that, as you know, many students would recognize what we could do with this, having that there automatically can save some time that might not be the most useful time spent. So being able to draw right on that can be nice. But let's say that as part of my homework, I wanted to mention what the actual assignment was, right? So I said something like, maybe I need to do 1-1 numbers 3, 11, and 25 through 31. I don't know, just making things up. Okay, let me get back to tags, which was my point. I wanted to make sure we had something there to actually tag. So if I look through my tags now, maybe I've got, as I'm taking my own examples here, maybe there is some kind of question that I want to ask, or I'm supposed to submit something that's not regular. I could use a to-do tag, okay? So I can say, all right, I've got, don't forget to send in my discussion board ideas, okay? So maybe that was a to-do that mattered to me as part of my 1-1 graphing. Let's see, on my homework was right here, my homework assignment. I could tag that as homework. Let's see, I don't know if I have an example tag. It doesn't look like I have an example tag, but I might want to put in an example tag. That might be something that is helpful to me. Maybe somewhere in my notes, let me look at what I did in my independent activity. Okay, down here, maybe there were some kind of questions that I needed to ask the teacher about. So let's see, we'll grab that and we'll label it a question. So all I've done so far is just add this little question tag. We're not really seeing the impact of the tags yet. I'm going to show that in just a moment. Just want to add a couple more things. Let's see, maybe in my example, maybe there was some kind of important note here that x-intercepts always have a y value of 0 and y-intercepts have an x value equals 0. So maybe I took those notes at some point during my lesson, and that's really important, and I don't want to forget about it. Maybe I have some kind of definition that popped up in my notes. Maybe I have some kind of theorem. Like I think in one of these pages I wrote the Pythagorean theorem, but I'm going to add that in real quick just to show you the beauty of tags. Now this is not the complete Pythagorean theorem. I need to define what A and B and C are, and then I'm only working with a right triangle, right? Because otherwise you'll end up with a mean old math teacher like me that'll label your sides like this. So a squared plus b squared plus c squared is not enough to understand the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, side rant over. But let's say that I grab my Pythagorean theorem and maybe I label it a remember for later, or maybe I create a tag called theorem, or maybe I put it as definition, even though it's not really a definition, but it gives me something along those lines, perhaps. Now, right now, my notes are kind of a scattered mess. So instead of me just writing, wherever things came to me, as I might do on paper and then be stuck with it. If I didn't leave myself enough room for something on physical paper, I'm just out of luck. If I don't leave myself enough room for something with digital paper, I can highlight it and I can grab it and I can put it somewhere else. So there we go. Now I have my Pythagorean theorem tagged for later. As you experiment with things, you can make them look more to your liking. But now I have a couple of tags. So let me show you what I can do with these tags. So if I say find tags, so up here in the home menu, if I say find tags, now I can group tags by tag name. So like anything I flagged definition, and then anything I flagged as homework, anything I flagged as important, or questions, or to-dos. Okay, so these are grouped by tag name. I can also group them by section. So now I have all of the tags that I had in section 1, or by date. So I could find all of my tags from a certain day of my work, right? So here you would see anything that you have flagged in your history class and in your math class and in your English class. I'm going to go back to tag name. And then down here at the bottom where I'm searching, I can either search a page group. So right now, remember, this is my full page group, or I can search in an entire section, or I can search in the entire notebook. So like if you turned on notebook and date, then you would see any of your tags from your whole school notebook that is on a certain date, okay? Or would be sorted by a certain date. So the potential here is huge. Here's what I like. If I have grouped all of 1-1 together, if I've created the subpage thing, if I search my page group and I turn on tag name, and then I say create summary page, kind of put it in a funny place on the page here, but I'm going to adjust the formatting of this and bring it over here. And And I'm going to turn off my ruled lines. And we'll go ahead and rename this as 1-1 summary. Okay, and so now what it has done is it has taken everything that I flagged, sorry about that, it's taken everything that I used a tag to identify in my 1-1 section, and I created a summary page. Now, my summary page had flipped down here to the end, but the way that I would actually use this is I would be working on 1-1 for a day or several days potentially, and when I'm done with my work, I would make sure that everything was tagged and I'd create a summary page. Okay, so my summary page is going to be part of my 1-1 stuff. Maybe I decide to make it the main page for 1-1 and I subgroup everything below the summary page. Now, when I collapse my notes, I have my 1-1 summary. So anything that I've flagged as definitions is right there. Any homework assignments are right there. Any to-dos are right here, and I can mark them off as done. So this allows you to organize your notes as you go, to have all of the detail, and then to tag it appropriately so a summary page can be made instantly. The other thing that's going on with the summary page is that these are all links. So not only does it just take what I have flagged as homework, but I can click on this and it takes me to the page that it was flagged from. So my summary page where, oh, I've got this whole list of questions that I need to either answer, or maybe they're questions that I want to ask my teacher about the next day. By clicking on this link that came from the tag, it takes me to that page. So while I'm thinking about that, if we were going to use the portfolio potentially to be grouping things together, you could use this tag and create your own custom things. Like maybe these are your original designs and you're flagging them a certain way, and then these are your interpretations of something and you flag those a certain way. But anyway, tags are just the coolest thing, and if you use them, you can create, if we think about a 1/4 of content in an AP course, if you have flagged dates that are important, if you have flagged battles that are important, if you have flagged leaders' names that are important, and then instead of flipping through hundreds of pages of your own written text, instead, if you can very quickly digitally flip through hundreds of pages of your own written text, it can be a phenomenal study tool. So I have frequently said casually that I think that every college student and every upper level high school student should have OneNote and a good stylus. And that is really because of tags. I think that tags are awesome and open the doors for digital notebooks that aren't just a less heavy and permanent record version of hard paper notebooks, but are actually significantly more useful to students than hard copy notebooks. So, all right, if you hung in there with me, thank you. Hopefully this is helpful. If you feel like OneNote is something that you really want to work with and get good at, and you need a little bit more help, let me know. I can tell you that I've used OneNote for myself as a student in my graduate work, and as a teacher and as a mom, and so all of my background on it is just from experimenting and playing. So I will do what I can to help you out. We can probably figure it out together, but I think OneNote is super useful. And the fact that our students now all have computers with it installed, I encourage the students as well as their teachers to learn how they can use it as well. So good luck. Thanks.